The only thing about bushcraft that's dangerous is the amount of cuts that you can give yourself. You don't have to use knives properly, you know.
Yeah. Especially if you're not used to using knives and bladed objects, you can hurt yourself really easily. And the thing is, if you get complacent, you will get hurt.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot of it's to do with thinking about what you're going to do before you do it, using the proper techniques, and yeah, just be careful. Basically, wearing gloves, things like that.
Yeah. See, I wasn't using gloves because I wanted to develop sort of calluses in my skin, but which helped me once I cut my finger here. That had enough calluses that it wasn't that bad. But then when I had this Chinese knife that didn't lock, pen knife, and I was trying to,
Yeah,
it came back on top of me and cut almost half my finger at the
yeah,
top there, sliced through it there, and just seemed like 3 or 4 millimeters of skin like separated. But the thing is, I'd learned some bushcraft and so I've learned some medical stuff, and thankfully I had one of these liquid skin type super glues on me, the medical grade stuff, and that really helped. Otherwise, I would have probably needed stitches or something like that, or the bandage would have taken ages. So just
yeah.
having a little bit of medical knowledge as well.
Exactly. Yeah, you don't need to be a doctor, but just know a few basics, and
Yeah.
be prepared to use it, and have some just basic kit on you. Whenever I'm out doing bushcrafty stuff, I've actually put together a belt. I did a little video on it on on my channel, and yeah, one of the main things on there is the med kit. That's one of the main things I'm carrying. It's just a little bit of trauma, control in case you do have a bad accident with an axe or a chopper.
An axe.
Yeah.
I'm terrified of blades and stuff because I'm being humbled by how pathetically fragile my body is.
Yeah.
And just even that small knife, like, it's still a bit sore there. And like, when you just look at an axe and what it can do to wood, and so you could just imagine that hitting your arm or an artery. It's like,
it's your legs that you got to be worried about, isn't it? If you're using an axe, and obviously there's some big areas on your leg where you can lose a lot of blood really quickly. So I always carry a tourniquet, a compression bandage, and a load of other sort of trauma-related stuff. Plus, obviously, your little bits and pieces like plasters and that, just in case.
Yeah, even another humbling thing is, even if you have a tourniquet, and even if you can cut stop your leg bleeding, you still need surgery, and that is like, you need a hospital, you need a hospital bed, you need all that technology to survive,
And I see a lot of people putting out videos on YouTube talking about medical type stuff, as in, well, not medical training, but bushcrafters and stuff, saying, "Oh, I'm carrying this tourniquet." But mate, have you ever actually put a tourniquet on? Do you know what you're doing? And also, do you know the right situation to put them on? Because if you put a tourniquet on a leg or an arm, there's a good chance you're going to lose that arm or the leg if it's on too long. So, you've got to weigh up the fact, do you need to do it to save that life? Is it bad enough? Or if you just had a bit of a gash, you're not just going to chuck it on. So you need to know what you're doing with this kit, because you can do more harm than good sometimes with medical stuff.
Yeah, I think everybody should carry a tourniquet, and I'd say the most people I know, they don't have a first aid in their house, so a tourniquet is a good start. But sometimes those paramedics will be like, don't use a tourniquet in most situations. You could use gauze or things like that. But then people don't know what gauze is.
Yeah. It needs to be life-saving it needs to be a very serious injury that's going to result in you bleeding to death to put a tourniquet on. Or, traumatic amputation, something like that, like a blast injury or something. Because if you've lost your foot, and what you got to do is stop that blood leaking out to save your life.
Yeah. I don't know, like, we have these sort of field hospitals that we have in the military. Even in Ukraine, you have this advanced technology. Imagine what it was like in like Roman times when they're fighting wars there, like the sort of like minimalistic things that they could do to, like, what were hospitals like in Roman times? Like, how do they do probably the most minimal stuff?
It would have been gruesome, wouldn't it? I mean, the doctors back then were known for their strength. They had to be, because they were manually sawing limbs off and stuff in those kind of scenarios. Imagine having to do that.
Yeah, that sounds like probably it was an infected wound that would have to do that.
Yeah, and you can imagine the casualty rate. The mortality rate would have been enormous back then. So any kind of sort of fairly serious injuries, probably going to die. So serious shit.
I think in an ideal situation, we'd all be walking around with like halo armor on. This, that would be safe bushcraft.
Yeah, but you know for a fact it'd be like the stormtroopers where you're walking around with all this clunky crap on it, don't do anything. You get shot and you get hit anyway.
Yeah, the Halo armor does have a lot of weak points. So you feel it's like imagine some 50 cal hitting one of those grooves and then it bounces off and hits that flexible bit, so
Well, as someone that's worn body armor on operations, it's not fun. You want it on when you're getting shot at, but the rest of the time you can't wait to get it off. It's not fun wearing that crap.
yeah, body armor is just one of those things where humanity has a long way to go.
Yeah,
Because you're wearing something that protects a tiny fraction of your whole body. You'd think that we would invent something that could stop projectiles, so in a dense format, but no, we haven't really. I guess maybe graphene could be a good potentiality.
yeah. Who knows?